似未能驱除的魔念，竟能令我心神失守。蛮荒野人，岂敢在孔妖城得势！
奉妖将大人之命，待新任的王林统领到营就职。
实力逊色之人，不配从我手中夺权。以下犯上者，斩！In
episode 113 of Renegade Immortal, Wang Lin finally accepts the trial set by the demon general after arriving at the ancient demon city. The challenge is simple yet terrifying. If he can withstand the 10 collapse fists of the left-wing demon general, he'll be promoted to the rank of commander. This left-wing demon general's cultivation had nearly reached its peak, and Wang Lin knew this battle was no ordinary test. As the fight began, his demonic energy surged like a raging storm. Each of the demon general's strikes shook the heavens, but Wang Lin, driven by sheer determination, entered a berserk demonic state of his own and fought back fiercely. After an intense, earth-shattering battle, he finally passed the test. His strength and will impressed everyone present, and Wang Lin was immediately appointed as commander of Ancient Demon City, commanding 10,000 demon soldiers. After the duel, Wang Lin went to a nearby tavern to rest, waiting for the demon general's next orders. Days passed, and for 7 days he remained there quietly. Then, a messenger finally arrived to escort him to the military camp. But before that, an unexpected and dangerous event unfolded. While drinking alone, Wang Lin's thoughts drifted back to Suzaku Star, the place of his past, filled with memories and regrets. He became completely lost in those recollections. For cultivators, this kind of mental state is extremely dangerous. Once the heart wavers, the demonic path devours reason. His companions, 13 and Hu Pao, noticed something was wrong. 13 stared nervously, his heart filled with worry, while Hu Pao frowned, realizing Wang Lin's condition was unstable. And then, a harsh metallic sound echoed from outside, the sound of armor clanking and boots striking the ground. Moments later, 7 or 8 soldiers clad in black armor swaggered into the tavern. Their arrogance was suffocating, and the other guests quickly fled in fear. At the head of the group sat a middle-aged man radiating a commanding, oppressive aura. He grabbed a wine jar, took a bold swig, and arrogantly threw the empty jar toward Wang Lin's table. 13's face darkened, but knowing Wang Lin's state was unstable, he forced himself to stay calm. The black-armored soldiers began mocking and gossiping among themselves about their new commander. From their conversation, it became clear, they were furious that their previous leader had been demoted to deputy, while an outsider like Wang Lin had taken over. The gloomy man at the front sneered, saying they should teach the new commander a lesson. He even mentioned using the Zhuxian formation, a powerful killing array, to eliminate Wang Lin. As the tavern emptied, only Wang Lin and the soldiers remained. The air grew thick with tension. His immortal energy began to surge uncontrollably, the demonic thoughts inside him stirring violently. 13 called out softly, trying to wake him, but Wang Lin didn't respond. The gloomy commander smirked and threw another wine jar straight at Wang Lin. 13 leapt to catch it, but the force behind it was so great it sent him stumbling back several steps. The soldiers laughed arrogantly, while the commander barked at them to leave, his tone dripping with disdain. Hu Pao's eyes sharpened, he could sense the demonic power hidden within these soldiers, especially in their leader, whose cultivation had reached the level where demonic power could be freely controlled. One soldier stepped forward aggressively. 13 moved instantly to block him, and the two exchanged blows. After a few strikes, the soldier was sent flying back, coughing blood, but 13 himself was also badly injured. Seeing his companion fall, Hu Pao gritted his teeth, pulled out his soul flag, and unleashed a torrent of ghostly souls that filled the tavern. The soldiers roared in response, their demonic power surging as 6 of them attacked together, trying to force back Hu Pao's summoned souls. Both 13 and Hu Pao looked at each other. They knew Wang Lin was their only hope, and they would protect him even if it meant dying here. But just then, something changed. The commander's expression suddenly shifted in alarm. He shouted for his men to withdraw their demonic power, but it was already too late. The 6 demonic energies went out of control, rushing toward Wang Lin like a storm and entering his body through his forehead. The violent shock instantly snapped Wang Lin out of his trance. His eyes opened, clear and cold once again. He took a deep breath, a look of realization flashing through his eyes. The sheer destructive power of the demonic thoughts he had nearly fallen into terrified him. He understood, no matter how powerful a cultivator becomes, the most important thing is maintaining a firm, unshakable heart. He had nearly been consumed by his own memories. But in that critical moment of clarity, Wang Lin acted. The demonic crystal within his body lit up, and with a single thought, he absorbed all the out-of-control demonic power from the 6 soldiers. In an instant, their energy was drained, leaving them pale and trembling in fear. Their leader, the gloomy man, stood up angrily and demanded to know who Wang Lin really was. But Wang Lin didn't even look at him. Calmly, he picked up a wine jar, rose from his seat, and walked toward the door. The commander tried to block him, slashing with a demonic sword. But Wang Lin merely waved his hand, dispersing the attack as if it were nothing. Before leaving, Wang Lin said coldly, "We will meet again," and then walked out of the tavern, leaving behind stunned silence. When he returned to his quarters, Wang Lin recalled the demon general's earlier promise. The 7 days had passed, and his escort should be arriving soon. Sure enough, not long after, a steward under the demon general arrived to take him to his assigned military camp. After confirming Wang Lin's commander token, the steward activated a unique blood-colored teleportation array. The formation flashed to life, and in an instant, Wang Lin and his companions were transported to their destination. The moment they arrived, a thunderous roar exploded all around them, like 10,000 beasts howling in unison. The sheer sound waves were so powerful that 13 and Hu Pao couldn't bear it. One coughed blood and staggered back, while the other's demonic power went into chaos. Wang Lin calmly stabilized them with a wave of his hand and finally looked around. What he saw was a massive military camp stretching for 100 miles, filled with rows upon rows of soldiers clad in black armor. The soldiers' killing intent was so intense it felt like a solid wall pressing down from all directions. 10 square formations surrounded him, each neatly arranged and brimming with murderous energy, clearly an attempt to intimidate their new commander. The steward who led them there wore a faint sneer and shouted for the deputy commander to come forward. Moments later, a fully armed general rode over. To Wang Lin's surprise, it was the same gloomy man from the tavern, Sima Yan. Sima Yan greeted him stiffly, barely hiding his resentment. Wang Lin remained composed, simply replying, "We've met before." Sima Yan coldly reported that all 10,000 black armored soldiers were present, except for 6 who were unable to form ranks for some reason. Wang Lin immediately understood what that meant. When he ordered the soldiers to stand down, none of them moved. Their eyes all turned to Sima Yan, waiting for his command. Only after Sima Yan gestured did they obey. Wang Lin showed no anger. He simply walked calmly through the ranks, found an open spot, and sat cross-legged to meditate. For the next 3 days, he remained completely still, calm as an ancient well. The soldiers trained nearby, often glancing at him with disdain, whispering mockingly, yet Wang Lin didn't respond. Inside, his heart was as still as his expression. He wasn't in a rush to enforce discipline or assert dominance. Instead, he used his spiritual sense to quietly observe. Among the 10,000 soldiers, he discovered that each 1,000-man squad had its own captain, and most of those captains were loyal to Sima Yan. Even the 6 soldiers who had caused trouble in the tavern had some standing among the troops. Wang Lin understood perfectly well. This was the land of demons and spirits, where military law was absolute. As an outsider, he couldn't just act recklessly. To gain true control over this army, he needed to abide by their rules and find the right moment to strike. So, like a patient hunter, Wang Lin waited in silence, waiting for that one perfect opportunity that would allow him to act decisively and establish his authority over the entire army in a single, unforgettable move. As days passed, Deputy Commander Sima Yan grew increasingly uneasy. Wang Lin's calm silence was nothing like what he'd expected. From the very beginning, Sima Yan had prepared countless countermeasures, traps for any possible reaction. If Wang Lin lost his temper, Sima Yan was ready to humiliate him. If Wang Lin tried to take command by force, he had plans to corner him and make him fail publicly. But the one thing Sima Yan hadn't prepared for was silence. Wang Lin simply sat in meditation day after day, his presence like still water that revealed nothing. That quietness, that unknowable patience, made Sima Yan's heart stir with an emotion he hated to admit: fear. Still, he gathered his 8 trusted subcommanders to discuss strategy. His conclusion was simple: don't provoke the man. Wait. Sooner or later, he said grimly, he'll make a move, and when he does, we'll have our excuse to destroy him. Half a month passed. Wang Lin remained in that same silent state, cultivating calmly as if the chaos of the military camp didn't exist. 13 followed his example and entered meditation as well, gradually finding his own peace. Only Hu Pao, ever hot-tempered, couldn't fully contain his anger. The mockery from the soldiers, the disdainful looks, the whispered insults. He felt them all, and every day it grew harder to bear. Wang Lin's silence had started to backfire. The soldiers saw his restraint not as strength, but as weakness. They began calling him useless behind his back, a commander unworthy of their respect. Then one day, an officer named Sun led his troops through the training grounds and deliberately passed near where Wang Lin sat meditating. With open contempt, he spat on the ground and sneered, mocking Wang Lin as a cowardly waste. His soldiers followed his lead, laughing loudly, their disrespect echoing through the camp. But this time, Wang Lin's eyes suddenly opened. His calm gaze locked onto Officer Sunday. His voice was low and steady, yet it cut through the laughter like a blade. "What did you just say?" Sun froze for a moment, startled, but arrogance got the better of him. He sneered again, preparing to repeat his insult even louder. Before he could finish, a cold glint flashed in Wang Lin's eyes. His right hand rose gently, and an invisible force erupted. In an instant, Officer Sun's body was lifted off the ground, his throat gripped tightly by an unseen hand. The soldiers gasped. Sun's eyes widened in shock. He could feel the immense power crushing him, yet he still believed Wang Lin wouldn't dare to kill him, not in front of 1,000 witnesses. But Wang Lin's expression didn't change. Calmly, he turned to 13 and said, "Recite Article 8 of the Tianyao County Military Regulations." 13's voice rang out clear and cold. "Anyone who commits a crime against their superior shall be executed on the spot." Officer Sun's face went pale. Panic finally set in, but it was far too late. With a flick of Wang Lin's wrist, a sharp crack echoed, Sun's neck snapped instantly. Wang Lin didn't stop there. He sent a wave of immortal power through the man's body, shattering his cultivation from within. Even in death, Officer Sun's eyes remained filled with disbelief. Wang Lin tossed the corpse forward casually, his gaze sweeping across the stunned soldiers. The camp erupted. Furious roars echoed as hundreds of soldiers surged forward, shouting that they would avenge their fallen commander. But Wang Lin didn't even stand up. Still seated cross-legged, he murmured 4 cold words: rebellion against superiors. The next instant, immortal sword light burst from his hands. A sword in one, a scimitar in the other, and in the blink of an eye, blades danced through the air. Sword flashes crisscrossed like lightning, and within a single breath, hundreds of soldiers collapsed, blood staining the ground red. The sound of the massacre thundered across the camp, drawing the attention of every unit. Within moments, the entire army was in motion. 9,000 soldiers surrounded Wang Lin's position, led by 9 officers who quickly formed the deadly Zhuxian Battle Formation, a military array known for its lethal, sealing power. But even surrounded by 10,000 soldiers and killing intent so thick it could freeze the heavens, Wang Lin didn't flinch. He simply sat in place, calmly absorbing the demonic energy released from the corpses of those he had just slain. Then he raised his head and asked coldly, "Are you all rebelling too?" The 9 officers hesitated, their eyes darting between each other and the pool of blood that was once Officer Sunday. The scene before them was terrifying, and then Sima Yan finally arrived. When he saw the carnage, his face twisted in fury. "Commander Wang," he shouted, "you've gone too far. How dare you kill your own soldiers without reason?" But Wang Lin only turned slightly, his expression serene. 13, he said, "recite the regulations again." 13 began to read the laws aloud, one by one, each article sharper than the last, each line proving that Wang Lin's actions were not lawless, but justified by the very military codes Sima Yan had sworn to uphold. As the words rang out, Sima Yan's face darkened. The truth hit him. Wang Lin's half-month of silence wasn't weakness. It was patience. He had been waiting for a lawful opportunity to act, to strike under the protection of regulation, and to eliminate his enemies with absolute legitimacy. 3 of the 9 officers immediately stepped back, unwilling to be part of this doomed rebellion. Wang Lin closed his eyes again and spoke softly. "You have 20 breaths to disperse, or you will be guilty of treason." 13 began counting. The air turned thick with tension. Soldiers gripped their weapons, trembling under the weight of his killing intent. Finally, when the last few breaths remained, Sima Yan cracked. He shouted for his troops to withdraw. The formation dissolved instantly, and silence fell over the battlefield. Realizing his mistake, Sima Yan walked forward and bowed deeply, admitting his fault. The remaining commanders quickly followed, apologizing for their arrogance. They had finally seen the truth. Wang Lin was not a man to be provoked. When he struck, it was decisive and absolute. Then, Wang Lin stood. He pressed his palm against the ground, and in the next moment, the earth itself trembled. The ground sank several inches as soil and stone surged upward. Dust billowed through the camp as, from the ground, a towering 2-story stone pavilion rose from nothingness. The structure was plain, yet it radiated overwhelming power. With a single wave of his hand, Wang Lin had reshaped the entire landscape of the military camp. Sima Yan and the other commanders stood frozen in awe. Even the 9,000 soldiers who had once mocked him now looked on with fear and reverence. Wang Lin spoke calmly. "Everyone, withdraw." Then, taking 13 and Hu Pao with him, he entered the newly built stone attic. From that day forward, everything changed. The 8 commanders who once stood by Sima Yan began to distance themselves. Whispers spread through the army. The new commander, Wang Lin, was not only powerful but terrifyingly intelligent. Through that single bloody display of power and authority, Wang Lin had done what no outsider had ever achieved before. He made 10,000 demon soldiers bow their heads in awe. His rule over the ancient demon city's army had truly begun.